On this edition of Insane Throttle, motorcycle clubs have been part of the cultural landscapes for decades, captivating the public's attention and imagination with their rugged individualism, sense of brotherhood, and of course their iconic bike. But there's another side to these groups that often grabs the headlines: their conflicts, from violent turf wars to brutal brawls. The media loves to sensationalize the fights between motorcycle clubs, but what's really driving these conflicts? Motorcycle clubs face a multitude of challenges that contribute to their conflict. Now on Insane Throttle.
Ride or die, 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 fly. Know that they ride or die. Cody, brothers, my guys, know that they fly. Know that they ride or die. I keep wearing.
Why do motorcycle clubs fight? I'm going to try to explain it to you, because you know what? What's the deal? We see it all the time in the news. And especially now that the internet makes everything go worldwide in a split of a second. You know, clubs have been around for, has to be now, 100 years, man, in one form or another. If it was racetrack, and you know, one of the biggest ones have been around since 1938, I believe. And during this whole time, the news media, the general public has painted them nothing but criminals. Come on, let's be honest. If you're out there and you see somebody, okay, maybe if you're a biker, you won't, but, well, maybe you will. You might be a rub or something. I don't know. But anyway, you see a bunch of guys with some patches, and the first thing you say is they're up to no good. I remember a cop that walked into China's work said that to China, and it just like blew her mind away. Like, just because they got patches, you think they're up to no good? And that, unfortunately, has been the way that the general public has looked upon members of so-called outlaw biker clubs. Now, remember, a lot of that came from that deal out in Hollister and that famous stage photo from Time magazine. Next thing you know, the AMA and all them started looking down their nose at everybody. And if you weren't at an AMA sanctioned event, you were an outlaw type of deal. But I think the significance that motorcycle clubs bring to society is something of living life to the fullest and doing it your way. Living life the way you want to live. But that doesn't make you a criminal. It really doesn't. It makes you living life on your own terms, which a lot of people have problems with. But another thing is the type of stuff and incidences that really have defined the history of MC clubs and those conflicts. One of the biggest conflicts there was the Hells Angels versus the Outlaws. And you know what? I don't even remember why the hell the damn thing started. But a lot of it happened in the 70s. A lot of it happened in the late 60s. So there was a defining period in time where you actually seen it notch up from being just out there causing all kinds of chaos and stuff, having a good time, to where it got actually pretty deadly. And I remember a comment I received the other day about how we were the poor examples for the generation now, because it was during our time period, Generation X and before, that you seen a lot of bombings of clubhouses and a lot of bad stuff, man. You know, it plateaued in the 90s where it was really bad. You seen that in Chicago and elsewhere. So I can kind of see where the kid was coming from when he said that. And, you know, he was dead on right. You know, we didn't set too good of an example. But you've seen these conflicts now really exploding. And I don't know if it's just because the internet is the way it is, but you do see it stemming up, not by bombings, but more of the shooting stuff and more of a gang mentality. But I think the reason why it captivates the public's attention so much is they look at bikers or outlaw bikers, whatever you want, as the old folk heroes. It's something that's status. The status of bikers is, hey, you know what? We want our freedom. We're going to do what we want when we want, that whole type of stuff. And a lot of people wish that they could just live that, for a moment and get out of the rat race. Hey, maybe that's why Rub's the way, they are. Who knows? But I do know that turning point came in the late 60s, 70s is when it got real hardcore. And a lot of clubs got away from their original purpose of riding, hanging together, partying. And they got into some not so good stuff. And when you start doing that type of stuff, what comes along with it comes along with it. But at the same time, it used to be where clubs came from a specific region. And when you start encroaching on somebody else's, that's where you're going to have a lot of problems. I hate to mention to you, a lot of these conflicts have been because of women. Women in the scene, I'm telling you what, I'm talking about the outlaw motorcycle club scene, has been one of those Achilles heel type of deal where a lot of problems come up because of them. So yeah, you do have the women problems, you do have the business, if you will, and I'm not going to be here pulling on your pecker telling you it don't happen. It happens. Come on, nobody's stupid. The vast majority doesn't do it. But yeah, a lot of conflicts have come out of that type of stuff, and it's unfortunate because what was really a cool deal where it started from riding clubs, and you know what, everybody asked me, what are your opinion on that? Go join a riding club. That's what I'm going to suggest to you. Go join a riding club if you want it the closest to what it was supposed to be about. And the fights that some of these clubs have do impact the community big time, because that's when you get all these law enforcement officials on your back. They target you. MC profiling is a real thing. It's not fake. It's not a lie. It happens. But at the same time, we have to say to ourselves, hey, was this because of us? Something that we did? There's certain clubs right now that are doing expanding and stuff, knowing that, hey, this used to be or should be, a territory of the one club. What are you doing here? And then you wonder why there's all these kind of fights and these problems. That's a big thing happening in the 1% community right now, is you do have these other clubs expanding to where they usually weren't there before. And back in the day, it was like they didn't have all these dreams to go huge all over the world. What happened to brotherhood is what you have to ask yourself. That's all I hear everybody preach is brotherhood, brotherhood, brotherhood. What the heck, man? It seems like nothing but a high school freaking prom that, hey, he's dating her and I don't like that. And I'm mad because you went to this place or that place or you got in my business. That's what it, kind of sounds like. Hell, for those that have joined my channel that ain't even around the biker stuff, it's kind of funny getting their perspective on everything from what they see, because they're not in the lifestyle. And it could make you sit back and think, wow, man, they got a point there. They really do. But those conflicts of old, man, they still haven't died down. New ones have started up, and it's unfortunate, but it's probably going to keep going into the future. Everybody wants the peace. Everybody wants to hold hands, all that stuff. But in that life, it's just not going to happen. I know everybody out there wants it to, but it's just not going to happen, man. Too many alpha males, if you know what I mean. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and really appreciate all the support. Also, don't forget to go over to Amazon, get Brotherhood and Betrayal, man. I think you'll like it. Rock on.
Is an in-depth look at the trials and tribulations of street gang and motorcycle club life. This isn't the run-of-the-mill book that doesn't give the goods. This book will go into detail of events that actually happened. All materials in this book have been approved by those involved. There is nothing poetic, nor is there any price worth paying for the life we choose to live on the streets. James Hollywood Machikari, Brotherhood and Betrayal.